almost looked like maybe a construction site or some private property, and then he came out onto 85th Street of Vermont. Now he's again speeding like a madman down Figueroa Street, paralleling the 110 freeway here. Light traffic on Fig, allowing him to really push the pedal to the metal here. Now approaching 82nd Street, you see bicyclists, pedestrians in the street here. A very dangerous situation. This guy is not showing any signs of slowing down, but this is part of the reason they put, oh look at this, he might use a sidewalk here, he's going over the shoulder here on Figueroa. That is all parking spots there. He is speeding through all of this traffic. Very, very narrow lane there. That is not even a lane. He is threading the needle, trying to get away from those units behind him. He's got lots of flashing lights way back there now, using the parking lot to cut through this intersection here. Too much traffic going to come out onto Manchester Avenue. He has already been on Manchester once. He came under the 110 freeway and is now back on Manchester westbound from Figueroa. Again, doing whatever he can to try and lose those ground units, and I'm afraid they have had to pull back once again because he is driving way too fast, way too recklessly. That means that the LAPD airship is going to be the one keeping eyes on that suspect and trying to call out that location as he continues this dangerous joyride. This is a dangerous driver behind the wheel of that Mercedes right there in the middle of your screen for the first time. He is actually coming to a stop with traffic, and just a moment ago you saw a right hand there adjusting that right mirror. I'm not sure if that was his hand or if that was a passenger that was adjusting that mirror, but you saw that mirror move just seconds ago as he is now pointed westbound on Manchester Avenue at Hoover at a red light. This is the first time he has come to a stop. Right through it, and then came out the other side through another fence. And he did it at a pretty high rate of speed. Remarkable again that there's not more front end damage there. Obviously, it was a very heavily locked front fence, but he ran right through it nonetheless. Now on these surface streets here through a residential neighborhood, southbound, passing 88th Street. Very frightening to see this car traveling at these speeds through all of this, through all these houses here. He's already used parking lots. He's used alleyways. He's used every outlet at his disposal to try and evade the eyes of law enforcement and get away. But right now, we are doing our best to keep eyes on him as he continues this zigzag through southwest LA, which is in the LAX Bravo airspace, making it a little bit difficult to get that really clear overhead shot as he was coming towards us on Manchester. He has since now gone the opposite direction. He's moving away from us again westbound on 92nd Street. I'm being told now that they are treating this as a possible DUI suspect behind the wheel of that car. Yeah, just cutting everybody off. Sorry, Joe, would you mind to go ahead? That's the latest information we had. At least that's what they are treating this as, a DUI suspect. But obviously the charges have really stacked up here, and we're seeing a lot of really knee-jerk steering here as he makes these last-second moves, last-second turns, last-second lane changes to try and squeeze through traffic. It's a busy afternoon here. He is retracing some of the same territory that he has already covered, so he may not even be looking for a specific destination. It might be the case that he's looking for an opportunity to hide somewhere, potentially dump the vehicle and run away, or perhaps he has something else in mind entirely. But either way, the driving, very dangerous, very reckless, a little too dangerous for those officers to stay too close behind him here. They're going to have to triangulate their way in here and try to be ready for him when he does eventually come to a stop. They want to be ready for him, and that's what the airship is positioning those ground officers for. They're calling out the location. He's now on Century Boulevard, again going westbound on Century towards Inglewood, as he is slowing down just a little bit. He's got a red light here. We'll see if he, nope, not even obeying that. Look at that, just making a wild right turn there through the red light, cutting more traffic off, and now he's really starting to establish a little bit of a circle. Maybe not exactly the same roads, but he's starting to do a loop through this part of Southwest LA, which may provide an opportunity at some point, if he ever slows down, for a possible spike strip. Very challenging in normal circumstances. At these speeds, it's really, really hard. You would have to slow down tremendously and start to ease up on that gas pedal for them to even position. And I think we're seeing the contrary here. I think it looks like he's actually speeding up, really pressing that gas pedal as he now is back on Vermont Avenue, heading northbound through the 90s. They have had no choice but to back off. They're trying to catch up. They're trying to get into a position where they can either intercept and maybe put this back in pursuit mode. But it was so dangerous they had to basically put it in tracking mode, give all of that responsibility to the airship. They were still trying to keep up with him from behind, but in the last several minutes, as you've been able to see, but despite the fact that we saw flashing lights right behind him initially, they have pulled back significantly. That is the first sign right there. In several minutes, there are several SUVs about a couple hundred feet away from him, behind him. But you can see they're slowing down, actually giving him some breathing room. So they are intentionally keeping this in tracking mode. They are intentionally keeping their distance. They're pulling back. They obviously have no choice. They can't go through a lot of these red lights that he's blowing through, but they are starting to catch up here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 LAPD interceptors now on his tail, but still intentionally keeping their distance as he now slows down slightly down Manchester Avenue once again. So we're starting to repeat some of the same roads if they can get somebody in front of them. It's again very difficult, especially with all this other traffic, but you look for any opportunity. If he slows down, maybe they'll get to go ahead for that pit maneuver, or maybe if he continues this loop, they can get somebody ahead of him with a spike strip. But the erratic nature of this chase really makes it much, much more challenging and starts to limit those options. They have those tactics at their disposal. But with a wild driver behind the wheel like this, under the influence, and who knows if they have more information that they are dealing with, including the possibility of a weapon or what other charges that this person may be wanted for, that's all going to play into the decision making, into how they use their tactics, how they use their tools, and whether they want to take any more aggressive action. Right now, they're pulling right up around him here, and he's going through the intersection, coming up on Western. He's coming up westbound Manchester at Western, at the red light, making the right turn, and they are going to make that right with him here as soon as they have the opportunity. Again, once he goes northbound here behind these buildings, we're going to intermittently lose a solid visual of that suspect vehicle. We're going to try and keep up with him here, but it's providing a challenge for us, and obviously a challenge for LAPD as well. That's the vehicle. He's now heading westbound on 84th Place, a little bit slower, and they're not too far behind him here. The problem is, they have figured out that when he sees those blue and red lights behind him, that's when he steps on the gas, and that is when the public is most at danger. So they're intentionally letting him make these turns. They're letting him continue this joyride until they can figure out, until his behavior changes such that they can take more action here. Right now, the tactic is to stay just out of his rear view mirror, but just close enough that they can be in position if he ditches that vehicle. It's really hard. It's going to require him to slow down, and that just doesn't seem to be the case with the suspect. So for now, they've got to put that tactic in the back seat and just kind of leave it there until he slows down, and then maybe He'll provide them an opportunity where they can set up. Again, it takes a lot of prediction to actually predict where he's going next, where he wants to be, and then set up on those roads or intersections where they can run over that bike strip. Is very, very difficult, again, under any circumstance, but especially during a high-speed chase like this, it's really just not an option. At this point, he's now continuing southbound on 2nd through 90th Street, 2nd Avenue through 90th, again through now another residential section of South Central here as he continues southbound at a right here. He's going to come out. I believe he's going to come out right here if he hasn't. Yeah, there he is. Right there now. Yep, he's just going through that green light there. And we're going to, again, kind of peek through these houses. Going much faster now, picking up speed. Probably, in all likelihood, that tells me, just a guess, but I'm thinking he sees those black and whites in his rearview mirror once again. Yeah, no, what happens there, what tends to happen is that speedometer is basically tracking the movement of our camera, which is keeping up with the vehicle, but from this distance, at this angle, it sometimes loses its telemetry, and so it's much more difficult to keep up with that accurate speed. But now we're going to get another accurate speed as he slows down a little bit. We're going to get some better glimpse of him as he continues towards the 105 freeway. That is really a freeway that I am looking at right off the nose here as he gets closer to it. I'm hoping for everybody's sake, and I'm sure law enforcement is too, hoping he takes it. If he gets on the freeway, that would be the safest place for a driver like this. Unfortunately, he's going over the 105 freeway, and quite frankly, over the course of this pursuit, he has yet to drive on any freeways. He has been almost 100% on surface streets, now making a right turn on 120th Street off of Van Ness Avenue, now heading westbound on 120th, and he's slowing down a little bit. Once again, you're going to see those LAPD units pull up behind him, and he's going to press the pedal once again, press that pedal to the metal once again, as he looks like. So we're just getting word, guys, that LAPD has made